I got a call while I was doing that. They need to make it on these Apple i10s that when somebody calls you, it can't interrupt you. You can keep the video. Now I have to splice it together. So yeah. So I'm doing the. I show up with three people, and he shows maybe 10 minutes about how to set up a website and to set it up on the server, and that's all he did. And he's like, all right, get out of here. So yeah, he's a web designer. So here's the juicy part. I Googled this fucking asshole's name, and he still works. Only he doesn't work for the Fort Lewis anymore. But he does some like science field trips or something. But it showed his bio. He claims to have a PhD in education. The motherfucker lied. He said I can't remember what else he had, but one of the things he said he taught it. He was a professor at Fort Lewis. That's true, but he said he taught somewhere else, and he had a fucking PhD in education. If that dude has a PhD in education, it happened after he was fucking me over. But nobody does that. Nobody would go and get a PhD in education at that age after you're already at Fort Lewis College. He made it up. Maybe they changed the rules that you had to have a education license in order to work at Fort Lewis, and that's why he got fired. But see, this is why the whole system is fucked. Because you get these assholes who pull rank on you, make you do stuff just because they have the power, because they know that in society people have to have the degree, degree. So then they make you, they fuck you over, don't let you even share what you have to teach. They make you sabotage your thing, your work. And then they don't even let you do the final step. All I had to do was a semester student teaching, and then I'd have the education license. They don't let you do that, so they shut you out of your own what you actually worked for and deserve to have, so that you can never be a teacher. I can never be a teacher now because everybody believes them. They're not going to believe me. If I'm going to be a teacher, I have to go make my own website and prove my own self. That's why I have my own educational website. But I want to make it so that you don't have to jump through all these hoops and have all these people have power over you, because then they turn around and they just make it up that they have a fucking PhD in education, and then they put it on their resume, and then because they're friends, they're assholes like them, they do it too, and then so they all have each other's backs, and so maybe the whole time when I was all these assholes who I was studying with at Fort Fuck College, they. None of them even graduated high school. None of them even went to college. They're just assholes from the local area who are then pulling rank on you and telling you that you don't want to learn just because you're bored because they're not teaching you. Okay? So that's the world we live in. It's these baby boomer pieces of shit. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's nothing. I think I heard somebody somewhere that most of the people lie on their resumes anyway. And so that's why nobody has a website. Because everybody is just hiding. Nobody has anything to share, nothing to teach. They're just empty people. And so the only way that you can actually have worth is to have a title. But you can only get that title if you please somebody else. So you got to please somebody. It's just this whole brainwashing system. And so then the rich people whose parents buy their way into colleges, by paying other people to take their SATs, and paying somebody else to pay somebody else to get you into the class where everybody else has to go into debt. For what? It's to teach you something? Like I never even and even after I had my English degree, and I showed my English degree, and I was in Chile, nobody even hired me then because nobody even believed I had a degree, because everybody lies about that stuff anyway. They thought maybe I forged it, or they didn't even care, and because they were all jealous of me because I was traveling first, and I was fluent in Spanish. They didn't even care that I was fluent in Spanish. So we have to switch it up, and so that's why I have my website where it's where everybody has to have a website, and you have to do videos and share what you know. And if you want to learn something, well, why don't you just teach yourself? You can watch YouTube videos. Like I taught myself how to speak Spanish. I'm perfectly fluent in Spanish. I'm better at Spanish than most native Spanish speakers. I taught myself how to do web design. I taught myself history because I only took one history class in college. Being a history English major, you think that because I heard at the beginning that she was like, oh yeah, English is kind of like history because is because you're reading people from the past. Well, they had me take figure drawing. I had to do 2 semesters of PE. Why? I have no fucking idea because they're assholes. And all these other spelling, whatever bullshit classes, and only one history class. One history class. So I basically didn't learn anything in college. I didn't learn anything, not a single thing. I just got bored out of my mind. And it was the history of Central America was the only history class I had. So, so if you want to, I mean, I'm a self-taught historian. I'm a self-taught web designer, self-taught Spanish. I mean, if I wanted to start a business doing whatever, cleaning houses, I mean, what is it? Coding? If you want to be a coder, you don't even go to college. I heard some kid who went to for a couple weeks of college, thought it was bullshit, took a coding class, and then was making hundreds of $1,000s a year just doing coding. I mean, you don't need college. College is fucking bullshit. Why would you go for a 4-year college just to have to jump through the hoops of some asshole and then be stuck with all this big debt load just so some piece of shit can make $310,000 a year to do nothing, and these asshole teachers get what, $100,000 a year to do jack dick. What we need to do is make it so that people have to actually share what they know, and then you can separate the wheat from the chaff and be, oh, that guy has a website. Look, he knows how to write. He wrote something on his website. This asshole who claims to have a PhD in education, he has no website, even though he has a master's degree in web design from 30 years ago. He never even bothered to make a website because it'll just expose how much of a fucking idiot he is. And so that's why we need to rebel against it. I mean, if you show up at a class, I feel like a moron who you're just supporting it. You know, I remember when I was in Korea and I was hanging out, I went over to where I guess where the prostitutes hang out. It's also where all the soldiers hang out. They had 40,000 soldiers in the army over there in Seoul, Korea. And I was talking to some soldiers, and they were all regretting it. They're like, oh, my God, I should never have joined the army. This is so depressing. They just boss you around, and they don't even pay you anything. Oh, my God, this is so fucked. I wish I was a teacher like you. Oh, my God, and it's the same thing. It's like, why am I even paying into this? You know, like the guy, I saw the interview of the guy who, Bradley Manning, you know, did the leaking when they murdered all those people from the helicopter. And one of the soldiers who rescued the little girl who got shot, he was there. He's like, I don't know what I was even doing there, just trying to help, just feeding. We were the bad guys. You're just feeding it. If you join the army, you're feeding that. You're helping it. If you teach college, you're fucking being a real piece of shit because now you're making money off of feeding that sickness. But if you go to the school, you're feeding it. You're just feeding into it. You're keeping it going. You need to rebel by not going. And you know, I know kids who never went to college, and then they had a life. They got into their own, like they were a professional athlete, or they went and they did their own thing and started their own business, and then they used that to then get in to be able to get a better job than you could with a college degree than I could get. Because now all I have to show for it is, oh yeah, I went to college, but then they kicked me out. Oh my God, so you're one of those. You got kicked out. You're an idiot, huh? I think maybe that's why I couldn't get hired in Chile, because I was too honest. And I was like, oh yeah, they kicked me out. Yeah, and I remember when I told my own brother, he's like, oh, you're just complaining. It's because you're a bad student. What the fuck, man? So people need to just make their own websites and do their own YouTube videos, only academic YouTube videos where they share what they actually believe about stuff, and not do a video. There's too many low videos where you don't even know who the video person is, and they basically read. There's this one history guy who's a really popular history channel, but all he does is read excerpts from the past, and then he adds some graphics to it from the graphics websites, and then they make tons of money that way. But that's not even, anybody can do that. I could write a little blurb and make something about anything, and it wouldn't even prove that I know anything about that subject, because it's just reading from a script. You know, if you want to really share what you are, you have to actually be spontaneous. And so that's why I came up with the idea of the biweekly history test, where you close your eyes and then it goes, chooses just a random decade from somewhere, and then you have to look at the decade and you go, aha, that decade, this is what I remember about it. And so you actually have to expose what you really know about stuff. Book reviews. just on the fly book reviews. You expose what you really know about this stuff. That's the future of education. Not no more of this brainwashing, following the you know, some guy's order and then them judging you and telling you that you're not academic, even though they begged you to go there because they're not an academic institution. It's so stupid. So so yeah, my goal is to, you know, and you can keep I want to shut down 90% of the schools, high school and college. You can keep the final 10 for all of these immigrants who coming in who can't even learn English. These Mexicans coming can't even learn English. Teach them English at the colleges and have the government pay them. Give them the 4 year degrees. There's lots of people who love that stuff because they never, you know, they go through their 4 years and then they never learn anything ever again. That's how they learn. So let the lowest 10% of the stupid people do that, and let the smart people who can motivate themselves have control of their own lives. Because I didn't even have a youth. I was in control of anything. I was having to sit in a chair my whole life, all through high school, and then working after high school, and then college, sitting in a chair, bored out of my mind, and then freaking out and having to do all this extra homework because I was afraid I was going to drop below the GPAs. It's so stupid, man. Not being able to choose any of the classes I could choose because, you know, once you choose your major, you can't go back because you've already taken the classes in that and you can't renegotiate. I should have renegotiated, but then they wouldn't have cooperated with me. They would have said, no, you can't, because they just make up whatever the fuck they want to make up, and then they have to sign the thing. It's so stupid. Rebel, 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 and shut down. Let's shut down Fort Lewis. Let's shut down Fort Lewis College, and let's fire whoever. Let's reduce the amount of money these assholes make, because $310,000 to choose a bullshit curriculum. They don't even choose good curriculums anyway. It's all a scam. So fuck you, teachers. And if anybody tells me you're a teacher, and you know what, I'm allergic to learning anyway. I don't want to learn anything from anybody ever again, man. If somebody wants to coach me or to give me a pointer, it's like, whatever, dude. I'll just learn myself. So yeah, fuck you very much. And please, if you're one of my people who watch me, you know, 20 years below me, 25 years younger than me, don't do college. But now I guess they have online where they can't judge you as much. But I mean, even with the online, why would you do an online? Why would you pay into this stuff? Just make a website. Nobody has websites and nobody has real YouTube channels. Just make a website. It's easy as pie, and then write your own stuff on there. That's what I'm doing right now. It's a huge project for me because I got started late because I was too busy doing the college, and then I got brainwashed, which then kind of took away my. It made me frantic to try to travel and get caught up on stuff that I wasn't doing, and if I could, and now I'm having to do all this original stuff that nobody else does, you know, like Google Earthing Rome and Google Earthing Boulder and Google Earthing all this stuff. It makes it so I don't have the time to actually finish my website. If I had had time, I would have written down all this stuff and then I would have more to go on by now. So I'm kind of playing catch up.